Hi everyone, welcome to this video lesson. In this lesson, we are going to be looking at Introduction to Algebra. This is the first video on algebra. I'll be making another video to conclude the lesson on algebra. First thing we need to ask ourselves is, what is an algebra? An algebra is a form of mathematics that contains numbers and letters. So whenever you see a question in mathematics that you can find numbers and also find one or more letters, then you're dealing with algebra. So this means 2x is an algebra. The reason it is an algebra, it has 2 here, which is a number, and it also has x, which is a letter. So this is just a simple way of explaining what an algebra is. The next thing we're going to look at are the components or the parts of an algebra. Let's look at it. So these 5 components make up an algebra. So whenever you have an algebra, you must ask yourself, what is the variable, what is the coefficient, what is the exponent, what is the constant, and how many terms does this algebra have? So let's start with variable. The variables are the letters in an algebra. The variables are the letters in an algebra. So looking at this algebraic expression we have here, the variable here is x, okay? Because the variable is a letter. Next, we have the coefficient. The coefficients are the numbers in front of the letters. So in this situation, the coefficient, which is the number in front of the letter, is 3. Exponent. Exponent is the power of the letter. The power of the letter. In this example, the exponent is 2. Okay. We have the constant. The constant is the number that does not have a letter attached to it. So whenever you see a number that does not have a letter attached to it, that number is called a constant. So in this situation, the constant is 8 or plus 8. So you can call it 8 or plus 8, right? And finally, the term. The terms of an algebra are the smaller groups in an algebra. So if you look at this algebra, there is a group of values here, and then 8 is here. So this means this algebra contains 2 terms, one group here, and 8 is another group. So the terms of an algebra is the smaller groups that make up the complete algebra. So we have looked at the different parts or components of an algebra. So next, you need to understand that when you have an algebra, if you can't find an exponent, you should note that the exponent there is 1. For example, if I have x, the exponent of x is the power of x, right? The power of x. So here we can't find any power. So once you can't see any power in an exponent, you should know that the exponent there is 1. Also, for the coefficient, if there is no coefficient in front of the variable, then the coefficient there is also 1. So instead of writing 1x or 1x to the power of 1, is simply written as x. So x is the same thing as 1x to the power of 1. So when you don't see a coefficient, you know the coefficient is 1. When you can't find an exponent, you know that the exponent is also 1. Now we're going to look at the laws governing multiplication of algebra, division of algebra, addition and subtraction of algebra. Let's look at that. So whenever you are multiplying algebra, this rule applies. When multiplying algebra, multiply the coefficients and add the exponents. So if you have 2 algebras that you are multiplying, all you need to do is multiply the coefficients and add the exponents. Let's look at an example. Okay, so we have 3x to the 4th power multiplied by 2x to the 5th power. We know that parentheses in mathematics also means multiplication. So the rule states that when you're multiplying these 2 algebra, all you need to do is multiply the coefficients. What are the coefficients? The coefficient here is 3. The coefficient here is 2. So we multiply the coefficients. 3 times 2 gives us 6x, and we add the exponents. 4 plus 5 gives us 9. So when you are multiplying algebra, multiply the coefficients and add the exponents. Let's look at another example. So here we have y to the second power is multiplying 3y. Now let's look at it. Remember the rule, multiply the coefficients. What are the coefficients? We can't see any coefficient here. Therefore, we know that the coefficient there is 1. So we're going to do 1 times 3. That gives us 3. We bring the y down. We add the exponent. The exponent here is 2. The exponent here is 1. When you add them together, you're going to have 2 plus 1. That gives you 3. So we multiply the coefficients. We add the exponent. So that is the rule governing the multiplication of algebra. Now let's look at the rules governing division of algebra. While dividing algebra, we need to follow this rule. The rule states that when dividing algebra, divide the first coefficient by the second coefficient and subtract the second exponent from the first exponent. Very simple rule. So the rule for division is simply the opposite of the rule for multiplication. Okay, let's look at an example. So we have 12x to the 6th power divided by 3x to the 4th power. So following this rule, all we need to do is divide the first coefficient by the second coefficient. The first coefficient is 12, the second coefficient is 3. So we're going to do 12 divided by 3. That will give us 4. So we have 4x and subtract the second exponent from the first exponent. So we're going to do 6 minus 4, and that will give us 2. So we have been able to divide this algebra. It's very simple. So quickly, we're going to go further to look at the rules governing addition and subtraction of algebraic expressions. Let's look at it. When adding or subtracting algebra, you must ensure that 1, the variables are the same, and 2, the exponents are the same. So when you're adding or subtracting algebra, you must first ensure that the variables are the same. If the variables are not the same, you cannot add or subtract. Also, the exponents must be the same. If they are not the same, you cannot add or subtract. If you have a situation like this, 4x plus 3. 4x plus 3. Over here in this term, we have x. Over here, we don't have x. This shows that the variables are not the same. Here there's a variable, here there's no variable. So you cannot add them together. If you have 4x plus 3y, obviously we can see here that the variable here is x, the variable here is y. You still cannot add them together. What about if you have 4x squared minus 3x? Can you subtract? Let's see. We have the variable here as x. We have the variable here as x. So it means we can subtract, right? No. The exponents must be the same. So over here, the exponent is 2. Over here, the exponent of x, we can't find any exponent. So we know that the exponent is 1. So the exponents are not the same. Therefore, you still cannot subtract. What if you have 7x squared minus 3x squared? In this situation, can you subtract? Let's see. The variables are the same. The exponents are the same. Therefore, you can subtract. So once you confirm that the variables and the exponents are the same, all you need to do is 7 minus 3, 4x squared. So you just work on the coefficients, 7 minus 3. The x squared remains the same. So that is the law governing addition and subtraction of algebraic expressions. You must ensure that the variables and the exponents are the same. Let's look at an example. So in this question, we are told to simplify 3x plus 7y minus x minus 4y. So this is a very simple process. Here, this question involves addition and subtraction of algebra. So what you need to do is observe what we have. Here we have x, here we have y. It means we cannot add them because the variables are not the same. Here we have y, here we have x. We cannot subtract, not the same. Here we have x, here we have y. We cannot subtract, they are not the same. But what we can do is locate similar values and bring them together. Here we have x, here we have x. So we can bring this x closer here. because they are similar. The same thing here, we can bring this one behind to become closer to minus 4y. So if we bring this closer, remember the sign in front of a term belongs to that term. So this minus belongs to x. So as we move x closer to 3x, the minus sign comes with it. So we're going to have 3x minus x. This comes behind with its positive sign plus 7y minus 4y. So here we have the same variables. Here the exponent is 1, here the exponent is 1. So it satisfies the requirement for subtraction. The variables must be the same, the exponents must be the same. What is the coefficient of x here? Remember, when you can't find any coefficient, the coefficient is 1. So we simply do 3 minus 1. This gives us 2x. And over here we do plus 7 minus 4. This gives us plus 3y. Can we go further simplifying this question here? No, because here we have x, here we have y. They are not the same, therefore you can't add them together. This becomes the simplest form of this initial question. So it's very easy to apply this principle of addition and subtraction. So next I'm going to leave some practice questions for you to solve, take pictures, and then send to me. Thank you for watching the video to the end. See you in the next one. Bye.